Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This week, we're going to talk about product validation. I know I've already mentioned product research before, but I've had some of you guys requesting some more in-depth analysis about how to validate a product and how to really know which product is worth investing and taking into a testing phase. So that is exactly what we're going to be covering this week. I'm going to be showing you guys how I validate the products that I want to test. And to do that, I'm going to use a product research tool, and I'm going to show you how to make the most of these product research tools so that you're looking at the right criteria and you're paying attention to the right indicators when you're choosing a product. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, before we get into the actual product research tools and start doing some product research, what I want to go over is the main criteria that you need to keep in mind when you're selecting your product. There are a few criteria that are absolutely essential and that you should have in any single winning product that you choose to test. So the first one is your content. You need to have good content for your product, because unless you plan on ordering the product and getting it for yourself, it's going to be very hard to get someone to pay attention to your ad and your product unless you have good pictures and good videos. You know, if your video is very bad, your picture is low resolution, it's unlikely that anyone is going to bother clicking through to your website. Number two thing, your product needs to have some sort of appeal that will get someone to pay attention. Remember, I've mentioned this before, people are not on Facebook to buy products. So if you want to sell a product on Facebook, you need to have a good value proposition or just something that is very, very attractive and will get someone to stop scrolling and pay attention to your ad. The best way to do this, and you guys have seen this a million times before, is you either have a wow factor product or you have a problem solving product. These two types of products are the most likely to get attention from your prospects when you're running ads. So with this in mind, we're going to jump into a product research tool. We're going to be using Sell the Trend, which is a pretty useful product research tool. I've reviewed this tool in the last few days and I found it to be very, very useful for those of you that are trying to find your first winning products and also importing it to your store, because it has some very useful automations. It's also good to do competitor research, so it saves you a lot of time looking at your competitors' ads and trying to find your competitors. So that is the tool that I'm going to be using today for this live product research example. And after we validate the product, I'm going to mention the aspects that I think are essential before you even put the product on your website. So this final part of the video is going to be a little bit of a marketing conversation about how you can position your product and angle it correctly to increase your chances of success. So we're on Sell the Trend right now, and this tool gives you a lot of options. So the first thing that I want to mention when you're using a tool like this is you need to know what is important. You need to know which of these options and all of these criteria, all of this data, you need to be able to filter it and recognize the things that are going to be important to you. So they give you a lot of filters. There's a lot of ways that you can look for your products. You can look for products on Amazon, so trending products on Amazon, trending products on Shopify stores, and just trending products in general. And they explain here that they have this nexus, which is their way of their algorithm of just seeing what stores are doing the best, you know, just scanning Shopify stores, seeing which ones have the most volume, and then presenting the products here on a list. The thing about using a tool like this, which uses an algorithm to scan stores and see which stores are doing really, really well, is to keep saturation in mind. You need to remember that if a product is picked up by this tool, it's probably doing really, really well. But how many stores are running it? Because if there's too many stores, it's going to be very hard for you to market the product, and the product is likely to be saturated. So you need to pay attention to the right numbers when you're looking at a tool like this one here. So going back to Sell the Trend, there's a lot of filters that you can use. What I recommend is that you start with the Nexus rank highest, which is the products that have been trending the most recently. So these are the products that have been selling the most according to their algorithm. But the thing here, as soon as you start scanning through these products, and by the way, definitely do scan through these products because there might be some very good ideas in here, you'll start noticing this on X amount of popular stores. And this is the thing here. If you see this on 7 popular stores, 7 popular stores, 8 popular stores, I would recommend that you only go for products that are at most in 5 popular stores, not more than 5 popular stores, because they're even mentioning popular stores, not stores in general. So these are usually stores that have a lot of volume, so they invest a lot in ads too. So you wouldn't want to go and compete against too many of these, because that will mean your market has a high chance of already being a bit saturated. And this is the important thing that you need to know when you're using a tool like this. Sometimes people look at this and they go, oh, on 7, 9 popular stores, 14 popular stores, this must be an amazing product. Well, yes, it must be an amazing product, but there's a chance that it's saturated, right? So you need to pay attention at the right indicators. And what I would do is I would use this indicator right here, least stores selling. We're using their Nexus rating, but we're going for the least stores selling it, which means that we're using the algorithm, but we're making sure that we're looking at products that have volume, but don't have too many stores selling them. So if we look here, 3 popular stores, 3 popular stores, that is fine. That is a good number. And now what we want to do here is we want to scroll through here and we want to see if something really jumps to our attention, because that means that the product is also likely to capture the attention of your customers scrolling through their Facebook feeds. Now, if we're scrolling through, there are some interesting products here from many different niches. As you can see here, all of them have 3 popular stores. Most of them have 3, which is a very good number. We don't want to go for things that are very saturated. For example, this product here jumped to my attention. This looks like an AirPod, but it's just a giant Bluetooth speaker shaped like an AirPod, which is really interesting. I think this is something that would stand out in a Facebook feed. You know, if someone is scrolling through and they see a giant AirPod, they're going to be interested. Also, the picture is very high quality, so this means that you have a good chance of capturing someone's attention. So let's have a look at this product. Click through the product here. It immediately takes us to a competitor that is selling the product. As you can see here, we see the pictures that they're using, and the pictures that they're using are very high quality. You know, they look like the product is they make the product look like very high quality, which is great. That's exactly what we're going for here. So if we go back here to sell the trend, we're going to do product research, and now it's going to show us the data on this particular product. And this is where it gets interesting. This is where you really need to know what numbers you're looking for. So first, profit margin, $20. If you've watched my video about how to price your products, you will know that this is a very good margin to start testing your product with. So this is definitely a very good indicator. By the way, if you haven't checked that video yet, make sure to check it out. That's very important that you're pricing your products correctly when you're testing them, or else you may be getting poor results that are just due to pricing and you're missing out on winning products. So pricing products, very important. Make sure to check my video on that subject. Now, the other numbers here that are important is, of course, the stores. Just 3 stores that are selling this, and you can see here there's low competition. This is very important when you're looking at products from these tools that do product research. Competition tends to be the main thing, because if you're doing saturated products, because there's a lot of people looking at these tools, and if you're running into saturated products over and over again, you're going to have a really hard time getting your product test to be successful. The next thing that we want to look at, and this is a really useful thing, is that you can immediately search for the product on Amazon and on YouTube. So if we go on YouTube, you will see a few videos talking about this product. And if you can use some of this content, if this content is not copyrighted or it's not proprietary or anything, and you can use it, check it out. You know, check the AliExpress suppliers, check the Alibaba supplier, make sure that they have the content there as well. So if the content belongs to the manufacturer, you can usually use it, because of course they want to help you make sales. And if you do find that the content is from the manufacturer, now they say here that this is not a new product that has been on the tool for 10 months. This is not really relevant, because a lot of products have ups and downs. Sometimes they have a lot of people selling them, they get saturated, people forget about the product, and then it comes back later and becomes a winning product again. So this one, don't worry too much about it. The thing I like about this product is that it has 48 orders just from 3 stores, and I would assume that these stores aren't going crazy. Definitely check your competition. We've just checked these stores here. They look like general stores, so I would doubt that they're focusing exclusively on this product. And having a few orders without too many stores selling it, that is exactly what we want to see, because that tells us that it isn't too saturated and it definitely has good potential. Also, a nice thing that you can do with this tool is that you can use that to add the product to your store, and it just generates a nice looking product page. It's not that useless product page that you get when you import directly from AliExpress with those technical features that you really don't want to have in your product description. So it's better than that. And another interesting tool that you can use is searching for suppliers. So this one is one that I really found very interesting, because most of these tools usually offer you the chance to scan AliExpress suppliers. But the interesting thing about this one is that it has CJ dropshipping. So you can actually check for products that are trending on CJ dropshipping and not just AliExpress, which is what most of these tools do. That's a very interesting feature that I found here. And yeah, definitely make the most of it by looking for the products that have had the most percentual increase, because that tells you which products are trending right now. Okay guys, so this is how you can find products that will make for viable tests. But before we go into any more detail, remember this: no product research method in the world is perfect. So you need to test, and you need to have a good and efficient testing structure in place in order to be able to test and find your winning product. If your first test doesn't work, that's not the end of the world, it's normal. You would be very lucky if your first product test ever turned out to be a winning product. Again, quick recap: make sure that you have good pictures, good videos available, make sure the product is capable of standing out in the feeds, and make sure that the product is not saturated. Very, very important. Now, the last thing that I want to tell you about, and this is the more market-ish side of things, is about how to position your product. Before you start selling your product, what I would do is I would go into Amazon and I would read some Amazon reviews. Try and find out how people are talking about that particular product, what they're saying about the product, what they like about the product, and then use that to build your product page. Use that to angle your product. You got to ask yourself, what does this product do and who is it for? Those are the two questions, and the answers to those questions is what you use to position your product in the market. So avoid placing your product as a generalistic product that is for everyone and for every possible occasion, because this really doesn't help you. If you position your product as specifically appropriated for a micro niche, this will present you as an expert in that particular micro niche, which will mean that people in that niche will trust you a lot more, and you won't come out like a jack of all trades. Also, of course, if you position yourself as an expert for a particular angle, you're not going to be competing against everyone else on the market for the same product, which leaves you in a much more comfortable situation to be able to test and scale your product. I've mentioned this in my last video about the store reviews, because one of the stores that was submitted for review had a very interesting angle on a product that is quite a famous product, but because it was positioned in a very original angle, it could be possible that the product could be successful within that particular angle, because, you know, it was so different from the main angle that everyone uses. So I've emphasized it in my previous video, and I'm doing it again. Make sure that you try and position your product for an exclusive angle, so you're not presenting your offer as just another person doing the same as everyone else. And that's it for this week's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful. I hope you implement these things into your own stores. And as always, let me know in the comments what you thought about this video and any suggestions that you may have for future videos. One thing that I'm excited about is that because it's Q4, I've decided to make the next videos all about marketing strategies for different platforms. So I don't know yet if the first ones are going to be about Facebook or TikTok or Google, but it's definitely going to be something along these lines, because what I want to do is I want to give you guys strategies that you can implement straight away to market your products in these platforms. So if that sounds like something that will be useful to you, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified every time there's a new upload, because starting from next week, that's all I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a few videos all about marketing strategies that you can implement straight away to test and scale your products. Also, if you want to check out Sell the Trend, I've put a link in the description of this video. And if you're interested in learning marketing strategies for TikTok, Facebook, Google, or any other marketing platforms, just let me know in the comments. I'm really looking forward to seeing which of these platforms you guys want to learn more about, because that's how I'm going to structure my next videos. I want to go more in depth about whichever platform you guys are more interested in. So I'm curious to see what platform you guys want to learn more about. Definitely let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Bye.